You've probably done this before. You're standing in a shop looking at two products that do almost the exact same thing. One costs $10, the other costs $100. And somehow the expensive one just feels better. But here's the strange part. Sometimes it isn't better. Take bottled water. You can buy a bottle for less than $1, or you can spend 10 times more on brands like Fiji or VOSS. At the end of the day, they're both just water. So why are millions of people happy to pay more? Most people think premium brands charge more because they make better products. Sometimes that's true, but surprisingly often it isn't. The biggest difference isn't the product, it's the way your brain sees it. Researchers tested this using wine. People were given the exact same wine to taste. The only thing that changed was the price they were told it cost. When people believed the wine was expensive, they said it tasted better. But here's the interesting part. Brain scans showed they weren't pretending. The areas of the brain linked to pleasure became more active. The wine hadn't changed, but the experience did. If changing the price can change how something tastes, imagine what branding can do. Your brain makes thousands of decisions every single day. If you carefully analyzed every product before buying it, you'd never get anything done. So instead, your brain looks for shortcuts. Psychologists call this mental shortcut heuristics, and price is one of them. If something costs more, your brain often assumes it's better. Not because you've tested it, because it's the quickest conclusion to make. But price isn't the only shortcut. Design is also one. Packaging is another. Photography, typography, even the colors a brand uses. None of these change the product itself, but they change how the product feels before you've even touched it. Take Apple. There are phones with better cameras, phones with faster charging, phones with bigger batteries, and yet millions of people still happily pay more for an iPhone. Why? Because Apple isn't only selling a phone, they're selling certainty. People already believe the product will be simple, reliable, and well made before they even turn it on. Whether every phone is objectively better almost doesn't matter. The expectation already exists, and expectations are surprisingly powerful. Psychologists call this expectation bias. We don't always experience products for what they are, we experience them for what we expect them to be. And that's why branding matters so much. It shapes the experience before the experience begins. There's another psychological effect happening too. You've probably heard of the halo effect. When we notice one positive quality, our brain automatically assumes there are others. If a business looks premium, we assume it's professional. If the website feels polished, we assume the service will be better. If the packaging looks expensive, we expect the product inside to be higher quality. The funny thing is, none of those assumptions guarantee a better product, but they change how we feel before we've even made the purchase. And feelings influence buying decisions far more than people most realize. This is where most businesses get branding completely wrong. They spend all their time trying to prove that their product is better quality, better customer service, better prices, better features, but so is everyone else. If every business claims to be the best, nobody sounds different. The brands that charge premium prices don't just convince people they're better, they convince people that they are worth more. There's a difference. One competes on products, the other competes on perception. That's why two businesses can sell almost the exact same thing to almost the exact same consumer, while one charges 10 times more. Not because the product is 10 times better, but because the brand makes people believe it is. The difficult part is that there isn't one formula doing this. The signals that build trust for a software company aren't the same ones that build trust for a restaurant, an accountant, or a clothing brand. Every business has a different target audience, different competitors, different expectations. That's why branding isn't about copying what successful companies do, it's about understanding what makes people choose your business over somebody else's, then building every part of your brand around that. Because people rarely pay for the best product, they pay for the product they like the best.